What is up, fellow bench warmers? It's a Sunday here in the Philippines, and welcome to your daily fantasy quickie. Alright, guys, happy Sunday, everyone, and great day for NBA fantasy. I'm sure a lot of our fantasy managers are quite happy with a lot of developments. Well, not everything is good news, but maybe we'll start off with some bad news. How are you, Komish? How is the fantasy week going?
So far, so good. This week has been good, and it's basically over because tomorrow there's just 3 games. So whatever your record is now, it's like will be the record for the week.
Yeah, unless there's a couple of stats there that can go either way. All right, let's move on quick to our storylines. Where do you want to go first? The good news or the bad news?
Go with the bad news first.
Okay, the bad news first. Mitch Robinson goes down with a fractured foot.
Yes.
This guy just can't catch a break. And
well, our feeling about Mitch Robinson maybe is the same with Derrick Rose. If you saw the video about Rose finding out about the injury live on TV, he was almost gonna cry. It's the same for us because we own Mitch Robinson and I own Mitch Robinson in some of my teams. But we waited for so long. He played for two games, or this is the 3rd game, and then we're gonna lose him for the rest of the season. It's a rest of the season injury. So now we just have to move on. At this point, it's week 14 already next week, so can't dwell over that. Just find the replacement, and we have a lot of players in the waiver wire today, so some of them will be good replacements. And direct beneficiary will be Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be Nerlens Noel, but the silver lining here is we haven't had Mitch Robinson for for a number of weeks already. So by this time, you have an idea of already on how it goes without him in your lineup. So I think that's the silver lining.
The Knicks might sign a big man, so we have to monitor that. I think you all know Noel, you all know Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson is not an ad. Just wait for I'm sure the Knicks are gonna sign a big man in the next few days.
I hope it's not Andre Drummond.
If it's Drummond, if it's Drummond, you can't pick him up because he's not in the waiver wire. But if it's Gorgui Dieng, I keep on saying Gorgui Dieng's name, but there's history between Dieng and Tibbs, so there. That is an ad if that happens.
All right, so watch out for that and watch out for the news on who they add to maybe replace or compensate the loss of Mitch Robinson. All right, I guess the next storyline is half good news, half bad news. So the good news is Lamarcus Aldridge has a new team, and maybe the bad news is he is going to the Brooklyn Nets, who are loaded with big man. How does this affect the fantasy value of Lamarcus Aldridge?
For Lamarcus Aldridge, it's the worst possible place, even worse than staying in San Antonio, because this is a loaded team. Although a lot of them are past their prime, but that's the worst possible place. Now, if it's a 12-team league, I'm okay dropping him. He's not gonna be rosterable if everybody's healthy. That's the caveat there. If everybody's healthy. Now, how do I see it happening? Theoretically, it's a bad move, right, fantasy-wise. But I'm pretty sure Blake Griffin is not going to play every game. LaMarcus himself is not going to play every game. DeAndre might rest some games, and there will be injuries here and there. And so there will be times that LaMarcus will get 25 minutes, half of the center minutes, and could be rosterable. But there will be times he'll get 12, 15 minutes if everybody's healthy. So, depends who's going to play at that particular game. That's what.
So it might be not just a timeshare, but an alternating, a rotating type of situation where Blake, DeAndre, and DeMarcus, and maybe even Nick Claxton
and Jeff Green.
Will rotate, will have their chances from time to time in that power forward or center position.
All of them are not rosterable for me. None of them. Even DeAndre.
DeAndre has been dropped in a lot of leagues already.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I've been seeing DeAndre Jordan being dropped already in a lot of leagues, and well, surprisingly, he is being dropped, and Blake Griffin has been rostered in some of the leagues as well. So, but for the record, I don't have any Blake Griffin already. So.
Okay, that's good. For Jeremy, he learned his lesson. For DeAndre though, in 14-team leagues, I am still a hold because if he gets 20 minutes and he gets 10 rebounds and 1 block or 2 blocks, I'm okay with that. So if he gets 8 to 10 rebounds and 1-2 blocks a game, then he's still okay. In 14 teams.
Yeah, but again, I think DeAndre is just a name value right now. There are a lot of centers, or there have been a lot of centers who have been playing really well. And one of those is the biggest news in our storyline, I guess, today. Moses Brown.
Moses.
As we say, Holy Moses. He had, well, here's the good thing I observed. So first half, I think Moses had 19 rebounds?
19 rebounds, yes. 17, 19, yeah.
And he ends up with just 23 rebounds. So that means the whole second half, he only had 4. I don't want to dwell too much on that, what happened there in the second half, but definitely he gave a big number, gave a big stat line today for his fantasy owners.
Yes, the big news is Al Horford will be out for the rest of the season, which we kind of predicted already.
We kind of predicted, but not as early.
Yeah, but it's a matter of time. So it's better.
Yeah.
Good news is it's better that they got it out of the way. So right now, everybody knows what Moses can do. You know, God gave him the commandments and everything. And he performed. And the thing is, Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley will play probably the next game. I'm guessing. So they'll probably be sharing minutes with Moses Brown.
Yeah.
And Tony Bradley is 23 years old. Moses Brown is 21. So they're both young. So it's not, prioritizing one or the other. So I think it's going to be a time share. It's not going to be 20-20 for Moses Brown every game.
I think the modest expectation would be around 10-10. Half of that.
That's good enough. But yeah, half of that.
He didn't have any blocks today, I think.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah.
Disappointed about that, Moses. But
So,
maybe God gives you another commandment the next game
and gives you a number of blocks.
But he's super raw. He's super raw. If you watch him, I don't know who they were against a while ago, but maybe it's
Boston. They were against Boston.
Yeah, Boston's a little small, so he was able to do those
And
things.
like I said, he had 19 rebounds in the first half and had just had 4 in the second half. That means Boston adjusted pretty well in terms of making sure that he doesn't get those rebounds, and also even the points. He just had 4 points in the second half. So the same thing we said for all or almost all rookies or new players that are coming into the NBA. Teams will adjust. Teams will find out how they can neutralize your strengths. So don't expect too much, but it's a nice.
You can sell high.
Yeah, someone's selling high right now. Just a couple of hours ago, in one of our bench warmers league, and just to let you know, I don't know if you've seen some of the comments I've had. We have a league called the Bench Warmer League. And there was another trade that involved Pascal Siakam, and that's the 7th time he was traded.
Wow.
In this league. So I think we might reach 50 before the trade deadline of the fantasy trade deadline. Just amazing how the league has been in terms of trading. All right, moving on to our big risers. Zion Williamson has been really good. Is he most improved?
Fantasy?
Yeah, I guess fantasy, yes, but in real life.
Fantasy, yeah, probably in fantasy. That's a good point. Maybe in fantasy is most improved because the Roziers and the others who went up, they were never out of the top 200 or 150 or 180. like Zion is, and he's now 30-something. So Zion's improvement in assists, in his free throw shooting is great. And he's a sophomore. So next year, I'm thinking he's going to be picked really early.
Yep.
Really early.
Second round for sure, I think.
The only thing missing right now, the thing that I'm pretty sure he could improve is a 3-point shoot. The steals and the blocks, I'm not sure. Sometimes it's like Randall, if you don't have it, you don't have it. But 3-point shooting can develop that. And if he develops that, it's basically a better version of Julius Randle. So imagine that, right? So I think next year is gonna be a easy top 20 pick for a lot of people. This year, he's averaging 34, 35 points in 70+% field goal the past 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
Insane. I mean, he's also one of the... It's ironic because we're saying he's one of the safer holds right now going forward because the Pelicans are looking for the play-in game to go to the top 10. So he's playing every game basically now. So there.
So yeah, and just to give you the stat line of Zion, it's 38 points today, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. He had 4 turnovers, but he shot 13 out of 20, and that's crazy field goals. He takes most of his shots within the paint, and that contributes to a lot of his.
Remember, Lonzo's gonna leave next year, so another plus for his assist figures next year.
Yep. So Zion Williamson, definitely a big riser. He has been in our big riser for a lot of times already, a number of times, and he has surprisingly consistently been there. Been playing really well over the past few games. All right, another big riser is Kevin Porter Jr. I did not expect Kevin Porter Jr. to play today. I was not able to get him up to my roster because I thought he was not going to play. But today he started with Wall, so that's good.
Yes, because there's no Oladipo left. So there's no Oladipo left. So he was practicing the past few games or past few days, but they are not playing him. That's why today I was not sure if he's gonna play or not. So I just left him in the IL and I did not say to put him up. But as I said, if he plays, he's gonna start, and if he starts, he's gonna perform, and that's what he did today. It's a return of the G boys, we call them. Moses and KPJ.
He had 25 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists on 10 of 15 shooting and 3 3-pointers. Maybe with this, the assists will not hold. The assists might not be there compared to when he was starting at the point guard position.
Yes, it will not, but we don't know how long John Wall will stay in one piece, so that might help.
John Wall could end up being another case of Al Horford, wherein they might decide to just, shut him down for the rest of the season.
Possibly, but I'm suggesting both for Moses and for KPJ to sell high.
Yeah.
Especially KPJ for me because...
Should I hold Moses Brown in a dynasty league?
Yes, both. I'm okay with holding both for dynasty leagues, but...
Because right now I'm out of contention in our dynasty league, so I'm just looking for players to hold and later on trade.
But the question is, you hold for the right price because KPJ will stay. Both of them, like next year, will not know who will play, who will be there. I mean, OKC might have a lot of good rookies, and Houston might have good rookies, so we're not sure. But as of now, for the right price, yes. But in the meantime, KPJ, remember, it's a very injury-prone player. After the game, he said he hurt his toe already. So I'm sure that was not reported as much. But I'm saying that if you can sell him out of after this game, you should sell him already. You should offer him through trades and get someone better and not as injury-prone. Because John Wall we're saying is injury-prone, this one and this, and Depot before. But KPJ himself is also injury-prone.
All right, so sell high on those KPJ and don't always remember we warned you already. So in case he goes down with an injury or what, and you haven't sold him via trade. And trade deadline for a lot of fantasy leagues. Some of the fantasy leagues, the trade deadline has already passed. but for a lot, I think they still have a week or two to get those lineups set before the playoffs. Last of our big risers, Alec Burks. He started also today, had 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 blocks.
Quietly has scored 20 points the last 5 games already. Although Derrick Rose came back, Alec Burks has a role in this team. I think if he's hot like early on.
Wait, who did he replace in the starting lineup?
Julius Randle. And Reggie Bullock.
Okay. Randle didn't play.
Reggie Bullock didn't play also.
Alright, okay.
But I think his role is different from Rose. So and right now the Knicks are playing 9 to 10. So he will get minutes. He will get 25 minutes at least. And if he's this hot, you play him.
He played 40 minutes today.
Yes.
Which is a lot of minutes, but it's actually surprising that Tom Thibodeau is playing 9 or 10 guys in the rotation because he is known to use most of his starters a lot of minutes. All right, those are our big risers for today. Some of our worrying players. Let's start off with Bojan Bogdanovic, because I know we've debated this a few quickies ago, and I told him that I think Rui Hachimura is a better fantasy player than Bojan Bogdanovic, and Eric disagreed. Now I think he is admitting that Bojan might not be the better fantasy player.
Yes, and that has something to do with Rui also. Beal went down with a minor injury, but Washington lost again, and they're going nowhere. And because we can see Rui's getting a lot of usage lately, so he will get more opportunities than Bojan in Utah, which is number one, and then cruising, and there's lots of players that they can use, and blowing teams out. So there. Plus, Bojan is really not playing well, and his upside has not been that high to begin with.
Yeah.
So I said he's a drop. One of our followers or friend of Jerami, Ryan Lau, said he's not. He's gonna get hot again.
Because it's Ryan's players. Ryan doesn't want his players to be subject of worrying Arsawi.
No, I'm certain Bojan will get hot again.
But it's a 16 team, so I think it's
16 team. Yes.
16 team. He might still be a hold there.
Yes. Correct.
Bojan Bogdanovic, first of our players, of the players we are worried about. Dillon Wright played today. The first time we see him in a Sacramento uniform, and he had decent minutes, but not so decent stat line.
It's his first game, and I said this. He's gonna struggle his first. I don't know how many games. I don't know how long he will struggle, but look at his history. That's how he is with his new teams. He will struggle, and he takes time to really get in the groove. So if you cannot wait for that time when he's already gonna do the Dillon Wright numbers, then you should drop. You should drop.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. Here's the thing too. Are they waiting for any player to come in?
No more. I think Terrence Davis. I don't know if Terrence Davis.
Terrence Davis played. He played 17 minutes.
There. I think everybody already is there.
Alright, so if everybody's there, if you look at the bench lineup, I think Dillon Wright is their best player right there on the bench. That's because Haliburton moved to the starting lineup. So
yes,
it's Dillon, Davis, Chimezi, Me Too, and Harkless.
Yeah.
So I think Dillon Wright is the best bench player for Sacramento. So he should get some good burns as the season goes along.
Yes, but again, you have to ride out this low before you get it high.
So is Dillon Wright a hold?
It depends. If you're fighting for your playoff lives, he's not on hold anymore. But I've seen many teams drop him already.
Yep.
So I think maybe should he be an ad? For me, if we have the luxury of waiting,
Stashing him,
stashing him, it's a stash. It's a stash. He's a stash, and I think it will take more than a few games before he can really be comfortable in Sacramento and find his role. He's coming into a new team and not knowing the system and not knowing what role he can play here.
Yep. So adjustment will play a big part.
And going to what Jerami said, he's the best bench player, but the problem is with that bench, they might want him to score, and I don't know if
he's not known as a scorer.
Yes. So we have to see how well their great coach figures it out.
They won today with a great Hail Mary play.
I would start Dillon and put Buddy Hield off the bench, but I'm not Luke Walton.
All right, so let's see what happens there. And the last of our worrying players is Jerami Grant, who got injured today.
Yes,
but looks minor.
But he's been struggling the past few games.
Well, the last game, I think 2 games ago, he did well. He had 29. I think a couple of games ago with 6 threes. So he has been up and down, but over the past few weeks, generally, he hasn't been good.
What I'm worried about with Jerami Grant is the past 2 games was against Brooklyn, the last game, and Washington today, which is probably the 2 best matchups you can have.
Mm-hmm.
And he still was not doing that well. So I think he's, and if you watch him, he's not that like the early season adrenaline. He kind of is lost, or kind of is just not in the mood to play.
Yeah,
expected, and so this is not good news for his owners, which we already know also.
And with this type of performance, it will be hard to trade him or move him because the value might not be there. You might not get good value for a player like Jerami Grant with this type of performance. So just a hold. Try to trade him, but maybe just a hold for now.
Yes, correct. Just a hold.
Yeah, not a drop. All right, waiver. Let's move on to waiver. There are a lot of waiver pickups that you can get if they are still available. Yesterday, we talked about some of the Orlando guys that you can stream or maybe get until they get everyone on board. But for today, some of these players in the waiver wire will also either move or they are performing well because of a move that happened within their team. And the first one is Daniel Gafford of Washington.
Gafford.
He had, I think, let me check. Yeah, as you were saying, I'll check the stats.
He had played 13 minutes and 6 out of 7 today with 2 blocks. And we said we mentioned this per 36 minutes is very good. Double with 3 blocks per 36 minutes. And yes, only 13 minutes, but it's his first game. I think sooner or later he's gonna start with Rui for the team, and I think he should be added now before that happens because you might not be able to pick him up when that happens. So blocks and rebounds.
He is a player on the trade deadline that really went under the radar fantasy wise because everybody was looking into Wendell Carter Jr., Chuma Okeke, Kem Birch, or even Moses Brown, right? But Gafford might be a player who's gonna help you and your team, and not many are high on him, or he's not as hyped as a Moses Brown, but could end up being just of equal value with Moses Brown because, like we said, Tony Bradley's not yet there, and they might timeshare as well. So
I might not agree with that though. I think even with timeshare, Moses will have higher value than Gafford.
You think?
But yes, I think Moses will be better than Gafford. Gafford we've seen Gafford start before.
Yeah.
And he never reached Moses Brown levels. Never ever. And
but it was, well, let's see, because my thinking was it was in Chicago, right? He started in Chicago.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I just quite high, not as high maybe. Of course, Moses Brown probably has higher potential, definitely. But I'm just worried about what will happen with that timeshare with Tony Bradley, because Bradley can also perform given the system and the minutes.
The thing is, given the same minutes, Moses Brown will perform better than Gafford. And I do not think Gafford will get more minutes than Moses Brown going forward. Even if Moses Brown shares with Tony Bradley, Gafford will not get 35 minutes at the expense of Alex Len and Robin Lopez. Eventually there will be Bertans, there will be other players. He will start. I think he will start, but I don't think he will get 35 minutes, for instance. Maybe 28, something like that, 28, which is 28 of Gafford and 24 of Moses Brown. Let's say worst case, Moses gets 24. I think it's still Moses Brown. All
right, but again, if you need a low-cost center, Daniel Gafford could be your guy.
The difference is low. Yeah, it's low cost.
All right, so Kenrich Williams of
Sleeper. Yeah,
another player from the OKC. OKC Thunder. So again, the gold mine OKC players are starting to perform now, as we were mentioning before. Kenrich Williams is one of them players. He came off the bench, 12 points, 2 steals and 1 block.
And Lou Dort went out with a concussion today. And even before Lou Dort went out, Kenrich Williams started to play 20 plus minutes. He's actually one of the players that was almost traded and a lot of contenders wanted Kenrich Williams. The only worry I have is that he's playing so well in the real basketball sense, plus minus and the analytics stuff, that the GM Sam Presti might say, hey,
you're playing too well. You're playing too well.
I mean that's wise. Maybe you say just 12 points, 2 steals, but in the analytics, he's an analytics darling. So, Sam Presti might just come down and rest him and make him rest with Al Horford and the other guys. But if not, it's a great ad.
All right. Kelly Olynyk started today.
Yeah, but there was no Wood. There was no House. But House looks like there's a problem with his family. I'm not sure what.
He had 4 family members who were killed in an accident.
Oh yeah, there. So, condolences to him, and we don't. In fantasy terms, we just talk about it in fantasy terms. It's gonna be a while, I think, before we see House. So Olynyk will probably start alongside Wood. That's how I see it, and he should be added. He's gonna have fun in Houston.
And he is a very good, very underrated fantasy player.
Yes, and he's
Kelly
perfect
Olynyk.
in Houston, Texas, right? White guy, put some cowboy hat over there. It's like that, the hair, I mean, he's a rocket. So I think I like Kelly Olynyk.
Right. A stud. He could be a stud right there in Houston. All right. Jaden McDaniels of Minnesota started once again, had another 14-point game. Is this going to be permanent, or is it something that you see moving forward?
I don't know.
Could be something that Jaden McDaniels owners be looking forward to.
I've given up saying that this is the way it's going to be the rest of the season if it's Minnesota. But it's the third straight game he's played 30 minutes and above. And so that's good. As you can see, those 3 games, he has 2 blocks and 2 3-pointers. So I think he should be added. And then if Chris Finch changes his mind again,
just drop him. Ride him while he's hot or while he is performing. And then Minnesota lost again today, so that's good news, I guess, for cat owners out there. All right, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Well, Lonzo was out today, and I'm not even sure how long would Lonzo be out. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker, as we all know, would be the beneficiary whenever Lonzo goes down with an injury or doesn't play. Rest of the season, how does Nickeil Alexander-Walker's value look for you?
Not as good as if Lonzo left, but with JJ already traded, Nickeil will be one of the main backup guards for the both positions, both point guard and shooting guard. So I like him rest of the season. He should be held in at least in 14 team leagues. He should not be in your waiver wires. And if Lonzo comes back and the owner drops Mikhail, pick him up. There.
Well, depends on who you're gonna drop, but yeah. He can be the last player in your roster, maybe. All right, Theo Maledon, another OKC guy, who played well today. I think he had 22.
And again, Lou Dort is out, and they don't have SGA, and they don't have Baisley. So if you look at it, I don't know who's gonna start. I mentioned Svi Mikhailuk, the one from Detroit, the shooter.
Yep.
I think he might start with Maledon the next game. So if you need 3-pointers, check him out. But Maledon was my priority add here over Ty Jerome also, because Maledon is gonna have the ball in his hands for the whole game now. No Dort, no SGA. So there.
So there, Theo Maledon at him now. I've seen Theo Maledon in some of the waiver wires in a few of my leagues. Terrence Mann, he played well again today, but mostly empty stats, just scoring. But today, the good sign is that he played well with Paul George and Kawhi playing. Because the past couple of games, either Paul George was out or Kawhi was out. That's why he was playing really well. But today, both those players were playing, so that's a good sign.
The question is Rondo though. When he's gonna play, what's gonna change?
Did they get Rondo just for the locker room presence?
Yeah, I think so. Then they love Terrence Mann. Their press conference after the game was all about Terrence Mann. So I think they've been winning. They've been winning ever since Serge Ibaka got injured. They've won how many straight games. So the more they win, the higher they go in the rankings, the more they'll play these guys, Terrence Mann and the others off the bench, more and more minutes. So that's good for him. He's a deep league guy for him.
Mann scored 23 today, but his field goal percentages are really, really, really good. He had 10 of 12 today. I think the other day, if I'm not mistaken, he had 8 of 9 or something like that. Just good numbers. Oh no, the last game he was bad, 3 out of 12. But overall, most of his games are really good in field goals and scoring. So Terrence Mann could be an add in very deep leagues. All right, instead of trade analysis, let's talk about some add drop analysis, because there's been a lot of questions about players that some managers want to add, but we're not sure. They are not sure if they can drop certain players as well. The first one is should managers drop Kanter for Poeltl?
Kanter for Poeltl. Yeah, I mean, I said that maybe you can keep both because both is okay. But if you really have to choose one, I said Poeltl because he's still gonna start, and Kanter doesn't have enough. The blocks. The blocks will be affected. With Kanter, he's not gonna have a lot of blocks. He's not been known to be a blocks guy, so I'm partial to a big man who can block. So I'm gonna go with Poeltl. But that's tough. I don't know about you.
That's gonna be. The thing is, there's a part of me that doesn't trust that Nurkic would play full minutes until maybe later this season. So I think Kanter would still have some value there. And Poeltl has been good, but he hasn't really been very consistent. So if you are looking for, I guess this might be a case of what type of stats you need. If you need some blocks, Poeltl might be your guy. If you need some rebounds, Kanter might be your guy. If Poeltl is still in your free agent pool right now, yeah, because he was asking if you can drop Kanter for Poeltl. So that means Poeltl has been in his free agent pool, right? It's not a trade. It's not a trade.
I thought he was choosing who to drop among the two, and some IL guys got up.
No. He was thinking of adding Poeltl for Kanter. So that it's either that's either a shallow league or not. The managers you're playing with are just not high with Poeltl. So I don't think they'll be high with Poeltl anytime soon because he has been good for a few games or at least in the past few weeks. So He should have been added already, but so I think if you need some blocks, you could use Potel, add him up. I don't think it's a big loss if you drop Cantor for Potel. Another add drop analysis: Lauri Markkanen. He is thinking of dropping Lauri Markkanen. He has a very stacked lineup. Lauri Markkanen seems like his worst player. He is thinking of adding either McDaniels, Gafford, Stewart, or Roby. Any of those guys.
I'm holding to Markkanen if with those guys. Yes, we are hyping up these guys, or we love these guys that you just mentioned. But there's a level to it. I mean, we like these guys because they're in the FA, so they're cheap. But Markkanen for me is still a higher rank or higher level, different tier of player. So I'm still holding on to Markkanen.
All right.
Especially for Roby. Roby is the worst Markkanen. So no.
Yeah.
So
all right.
I'm
all
holding.
right. So you can hold on to. That's what we also said, that he might be good holding on to Markkanen. But even if he dropped Markkanen, he has a very stacked lineup. I don't think it would be a big loss for him if he drops Markkanen and maybe add Stewart or McDaniels or Gafford if they continue to be hot or get going. All right, I'll squeeze in one trade analysis that was asked in our inbox. Levert and Potel for Hayward and Weissman, sorry.
Levert and Potel for Hayward and Weissman.
Yeah.
It's Levert and Hayward. I said Hayward is better, although he's playing worse. But Potel over Weissman easily. So I'm gonna go with Levert and Potel because I think Levert and Hayward is right now is kind of close with the way Hayward is playing.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go with Levert and Potel.
Yeah, but it's close. It's quite close. Those
depends on Weissman. He
played well last game. He had 18.
and Golden State is starting to lose. They're starting to fall down the standings and get out and not in the top 8. Maybe soon not in the top 10. You never know. Golden State may just say, okay, we're not gonna win this year, so it's
gonna be bad for Steph Curry owners.
Yes. We never expected this because they were in the top 5, top 6, and then 7.
Yeah, well,
now.
One thing of looking at it, maybe they play Steph now because they want to get into that playoffs at least. Do they have any incentive of losing? Like, do they have a lottery pick? So
no, but Golden State thinks differently. It's like, well, hell, we're not gonna win a championship. Golden State is championship for us.
They've won 3 already. So
yes, exactly. And they won't look for playoffs. We need playoffs so that we'll get ratings, we'll get more money.
No one will think about that right now because there's really no fans watching and.
No, but getting into the playoffs will still be better for your franchise value for your in your home court. But Golden State is one of the richest teams in the NBA. So for them, it's championship or bust. So hey, if we're number 10 right now, number 9, what's the point?
Yeah,
just tank it. So that's something to look out for.
All right. Yep. So yeah, that's it for a Sunday edition of our Daily Fantasy Quickie, and hope you enjoyed this. And hope you like the analysis or the discussion that we had for this Sunday. And stay safe, guys. And we'll see you again tomorrow for another Daily Fantasy Quickie. Bye, guys.
Bye.